What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 38. I am Bret, aka Enigma9011, and today I am joined by one of the biggest members of the Kind of Funny Best Friends community. It is Kyle Stephenson, aka WhoDatNinja73.
That's
What's
me.
up, Kyle?
What's up, Bret? Thanks for having me, man. This is great.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on. So, Kyle, you got a lot of things going on that we're going to talk about in a second.
I like how
I'm
you
already
say
forgetting my intro.
I like how you're saying that as you're rubbing your head like, God,
Yeah, I'm like,
too much.
crap, I forgot it. It's too much to remember. Before we get into what Kyle does, remember, guys, you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every first and third Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You can chat with us. If you have topics for us, remember, you can put them in the Discord or the comment section down below. Let us know what you want us to talk about. And remember, if you don't catch it live, that's okay. You can watch it over on youtube.com. Search Enigma9011, where it's broken up topic by topic, but also put as one big video for your amusement. You can check that out over there. And last but not least, remember, our sponsor for this podcast is the merch store. If you want to rep the brand and support, you can get all of your Enigma 9011 swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more.
Ooh.
Check it out. Okay, now back to where I was going.
You have a swag shop? I'm so jealous.
Yeah. I mean, Streamlabs is like, here you go. I'm like, all right, I'll make it. Will anybody grab it? Probably not. But whatever.
That's
Option.
awesome.
So, Kyle, you got a lot of stuff going on
I do.
that I kind of pre-framed about.
Mm-hmm.
A lot going on in the Kind of Funny community. You got your own stuff and the Kind of Funny community stuff. What rundown? What do you do? And what, like a brief description of each of them, I guess.
Wow. Okay, so, man, I do so many things. Where to start? I help run Kinda NYC, which is with a fellow best friend, Kelsey Lynn. We help organize and plan community meetups in the New York City area. We try to do that every couple weeks. And that's on Twitter at Kinda NYC. Very excited. Kind of Funny World Tour is coming to us in April.
Yep.
And we're beginning stages of planning some really awesome, fun stuff that whole weekend. So that should be fun.
Awesome.
I do a PlayStation podcast called The Trophy Room with my good friend, Mr. Bad Bit. Every Thursday, talk about the latest, greatest in PlayStation. And God, I love that show. I love just talking PlayStation. I'm such a huge PlayStation fan. And it's the thing that I told Joe when he first asked me to be on. I was like, if you were to tell 13-year-old me that I was going to be on a podcast talking about PlayStation, he would probably throw you out the door. Like it's a dream. So yeah, I do that, and then I have my own podcast that I host called Best Friends Talk Funny, where I have a Kind of Funny community member on, and basically just broadcast why the community is so special and talk about what that person does for a living, their content that they help create, and just making sure everyone knows that the community of Kind of Funny is so strong and amazing, and that's why we're such huge fans of the guys and the whole crew of Kind of Funny. And then I guess the last thing would be Kind of Wrestling, which I helped. I didn't even help create. I was just like one of the first members, and then I just got super involved in it. And that's basically just a Facebook group of best friends who just love pro wrestling. And there was a time, I want to say a couple years ago, where in the main Kind of Funny group, there was a lot of negativity whenever people would post about pro wrestling. And then the creator of the group, Devin Alexander White, who was on my show, Best Friends Talk Funny, he was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to make my own group. And then everyone kind of flooded there, and it's just all wrestling all the time. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about people like, oh, you know it's fake, right? Yes, we know it's fake.
We know
it's fake.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome that you step up to the plate and you do all that stuff for, the community, and then obviously, like you said, your podcast that reaches out to the community and gives them more of a spotlight, which I think is great. And listening to that podcast, like, it's definitely interesting to get to know people a little bit more. And I like how you talk about like where they started with their fandom and like their journey through it.
Yeah.
And then the revisiting of old topics, because it just light bulb here, oh yeah, that, and then this, and just memory lane.
And then like that's the thing with Kind of Funny 4.0 is the future of that show. eventually there's not gonna be GOG topics to pull from, and people are not even gonna know what that is, which is weird. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we'll figure it out.
Back to the drawing board. Okay, so you mentioned one group in particular, which I don't remember specifically when I joined. It was probably around, I think it was pre Kind of Funny Live 3 when we first met.
That's right, yeah.
And that is the Kind of Wrestling Facebook group. Now, you said you didn't create it. That was Devin's creation. And then you just were one of the first members, and you've kind of risen up as moderator of that page.
I'm one of the admins there. And
Right. Okay. So this kind of leads into my topic, knowing that you're a big wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fan, but I don't know too much about like your history with wrestling. So that's my topic, is like, how'd you get into wrestling? Who are you into? Current product, blah, 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 whatever. We'll go from there. Just wrestling in general. Gotcha. So let's start with like, how'd you get into wrestling? Sure. What was your start?
So I'm real bad with remembering specific numbers and like, so I don't know what WrestleMania it was. I want to say it might be 9 or 11, somewhere around then. But we were talking before the actual show started was we were talking about football, and my favorite team is New York Giants. And Lawrence Taylor, who is one of the best New York Giants players ever, was going to be in a WrestleMania match against Bam Bam Bigelow. And I just remember being like, I have to see this. I went upstairs to my parents' room because that was the only room we had cable. And we had one of those boxes where like you can get pay-per-view like scrambled. Like it would come in all scrambly. And so I found it, and I just sat mesmerized at this sport where grown men are throwing each other around the ring and hitting and punching each other, elaborate costumes and great music. And I kind of just fell in love from there. And then I basically grew up watching in the Attitude Era of WWF, which is probably, looking at it now, not a great era of wrestling. Because man, they did some wild stuff. But it was entertaining. You had the Monday Night Wars every single week with WCW and WWE. And then I just kind of kept watching, and I went to a couple live shows with my aunt, and I just kind of got hooked. I mean, how can you not with like The Rock and Stone Cold,
right?
Mankind, who's a Long Island boy. And I just loved it. I loved the whole sport of it all, the whole the theatrics of it. And currently I don't really watch week to week because there's so much stuff going on, and it's a lot of wrestling to watch every single week. The pay-per-views are great. NXT is fantastic, which is like the developmental. That's probably my favorite brand of wrestling right now. And I kind of only stick with that. Like I know there's plenty of indie promotions, and New Japan is huge, but I just can't. It's too much. It's too much. So,
that was going to kind of go into what I was going to follow up with next, was how well is your knowledge of, I guess, outside of WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW now, and then so on and so forth. Oh boy, words. Because I feel I'm in the same boat. Like there's so much to take in. I remember. So for me, getting into wrestling, it started when I was way younger. The moment I remember, I don't think it was live or whatever, but I think it was on a VHS. Maybe my dad recorded it. It was the famous barbershop incident of Shawn Michaels and Jannetty. Now, I must have had some history with the Rockers because it affected me a lot. Like, no, don't do that. But like, that's the moment that sticks out of what I remember watching. And then I remember having like action figures growing up and, all those things. But then it kind of like stopped. I don't remember what it was exactly, but there was a big hiatus until maybe middle school.
Okay.
And I was over at my uncle's. It was my dad's side, hanging out with some friends. They were having a poker night, and my uncle just happened to have SummerSlam, I believe it was 2008 on.
Wow, okay.
Maybe, I think it was 2008.
And you just made me feel so old.
Maybe it was 06.
You made me feel so old because that was middle school for you. Holy crap.
Maybe it was 2006. I don't know. It was around that time.
I was a junior in college in 2008, sir.
Podcast over. But I remember watching that, and man, I don't remember even who specifically wrestled, but I was like, oh yeah, this was a thing, and I slowly started getting back into it. And yeah, through the rest of middle school and high school, that was like every Monday I gotta watch it, every Friday I gotta watch it, and just tuning in. And then as I've been getting older and like following up with it more, like getting more into it, like I love the documentaries that they put on the network and stuff like that. And I remember always getting those DVDs prior to the network and like just diving head on into those.
I would devour every single autobiography that came out. Like I would read that instantly. I love that behind the scenes stuff of pro wrestling.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the opportunity of me like going back and seeing the Attitude Era matches and all these things, and like getting the big WrestleMania gold box set and being like, all right, let's watch WrestleMania 1 all the way through. And then, whoa, okay, this is not the style I'm used to. All right. Yeah. But yeah, that was how I got my start. And then, like I said, I'm similar with you where I'm sticking with WWE as like the main focus. But I remember at a time TNA was inputted into my life, and I was watching TNA for a good chunk of years. And then the first explosion happened, and then I was like, nope, I'm gone. And then I remember watching a little bit of Ring of Honor because it was on cable at some point. It was on some random channel, and I caught a few of those. And then I know New Japan's on cable now, and my dad's always like, oh, Japan's on. I'm like, all right, well. But seeing like all these names from other companies, and especially like you talked about with NXT being what it is now, like seeing these new names come in, and like, I want to expand my horizons, but like you said, there's also so much going on that it's like impossible.
And it's kind of, can we curse on the show, Bret?
Okay. Absolutely, go for it.
Not even this isn't even really a curse, but it's kind of dickish to say, like, even like all the big names from outside companies, I feel eventually come to NXT and WWE anyway, and then if I like I like their whole vibe and persona that they bring, then I might branch out and see like a couple of highlights of stuff. Like that's what I did with Johnny Gargano. I had no idea who Gargano was, and then he and Tommaso Ciampa came in, and DIY is like one of my favorite tag teams of all time.
Yes.
And now they're so I love that they're both title holders now separately. And I went back and watched this stuff at like PWG and blown away. And like it's what we're getting now with him in NXT, but to just part of me when I see that is like, well, I'm missing a lot of really great wrestling.
Right.
But then the other part of me was like, well, I can still watch that in NXT. So I don't feel too bad for missing out. But yeah, the only time I really venture outside is like if I really love a performer that comes into my bubble, if you will.
All right, so you just brought up Gargano, which hell yeah, DIY, let's go. Okay, so Gargano is a guy you're into.
Yeah.
Who would you say, I don't know, it doesn't have to be like a top 5, or like who are big people that any era that you like, that's my guy, that's my girl, whoever you're a fan.
So funny you said earlier, like when you were talking about your history of wrestling, I too had that period where I just stopped. I feel like every fan of pro wrestling has that period where they just kind of stopped. Mine was like during college, like I didn't watch it all. And then it was only until I heard that my favorite wrestler of all time was coming back that I hopped back in, and it's The Rock. Like The Rock is one of my all-time favorites. He is entertaining on the mic. He was great on the ring for what the Attitude Era was. But like, how can you not be entertained with The Rock? You see him in the movies. If you have never watched pro wrestling, his persona in movies like the Fast and the Furious franchise and comedies like Central Intelligence and the Jumanji remake, like that was him in pro wrestling. But even like lewder and more what's the word I'm looking for? More adultish in a way. Like there's no filter on The Rock when he was a wrestler. So he's like one of my all-time favorites. I love Gargano. I love pretty much all of the NXT people. But what I'm really into now, the last year and a half, 2 years, the women have been killing it. They're consistently my favorite parts of the current WWE product, if you will. I feel like their storylines are great. I love I love also being there like during the time of resurgence and of history. Like I was at the Evolution pay-per-view, which was incredible. I just love knowing that WWE is giving women a chance. So like my 3 nieces who watch wrestling with me sometimes now have, kind of role models to watch on the screen. And I love that. Because like going back to the Attitude Era, that was no. I will never show my nieces any of the Divas matches in the Attitude Era because they're all like bra and panties matches, and it was just an excuse to get him out there in as little clothing as possible. And the wrestling sucked because they didn't really train him. But now they put on better matches than the guys, and it's super entertaining. The character development's awesome with them, and they're at a point like where the women are really fighting for the limelight. And when they receive it, they rarely disappoint. Like sometimes some of the men currently, they get that spot and then it doesn't turn out to be much. Like look at Dean Ambrose lately. Like he came back, and now his character is whatever, and now he's not coming back. Like he's not renewing his contract, type of thing. So it is what it is. What about you? And like Shawn Michaels, obviously, like.
Yeah, Shawn was my big one for the longest time. And then when I came back, there was a little known wrestler of Jeff Hardy that stole my heart, and I was like, yes. And Matt, and then going back, like I mentioned before with the DVDs, like seeing the TLC matches, seeing just the regular ladder matches and the Brood and their evolution and whatnot, Team Extreme, that was a big one for me. So I think those are the 3, like, I guess nostalgia ones that are the big hitters. For recent people, oh boy, this is where it gets interesting. DIY we talked about. I'm a big fan of those guys. I know he's not on TV as much as I would like him to be, and it's a shame, but I loved Tyler Breeze in NXT and what he brought to the table.
Yes, he was one of the ones I was gonna say. If you weren't like someone who doesn't get the recognition and spot he deserves, like, and if people who are watching this have no idea about Tyler Breeze, he is like think of like a California, like the Californian SNL sketch, like super into himself, like pretty boy. He's got like tassels on his wrestling tights at the bottom around his ankles, and just he walks out with like a selfie stick, and he's like just looking at himself so vain until he gets into the ring, and he's a great mat technician. He's fantastic.
Absolutely. Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze is another one. Let's see. Crap. See, it's always these things like we talked about before going even live. Like the roster's so big now, it's like, all right, now you got to pick and choose who you like.
There's a lot of really great people now, which I think is kind of what makes me sad when they don't. Not everyone gets a chance to kind of shine. Like New Day is consistently awesome, quality entertainment. Seth Rollins is killing it. He's the man. Well, no, excuse me, Becky. He's not the man, but like,
how could I forget her?
He's like one of the best in the world. Daniel Bryan, I love his new heel persona where he's basically Captain Planet, but like an evil Captain Planet. I love that.
You mentioned the man. I can't believe that was one that just blipped out of my mind, because that's a totally obvious one. And like it was even before, like I love what she's been doing with this current gimmick character of the man, but like even before in NXT, like she was, I don't know, her and Bayley were kind of on a battle of like the bottom spot, I guess, for the 4 horsewomen. And I remember seeing her debut, because that was the time I was watching NXT Weekly, and I was like, all right, Irish jig, interesting. All right, let's go. And seeing the change slowly into what she was, and she wasn't on. I was able to go to Takeover Brooklyn, the first one, which was nuts. She wasn't on the main card, but they do the usual taping of the next week before, and she was on that. And I remember fucking, let's go, like exploding out of my seat from the nosebleeds. But yeah, she's a big one. And like you said, there's so many talented people out there. Like I'm sure we could spend the whole night just being like, oh, this group's cool. This group's cool. Like I know you're a big fan, speaking from prom and your prom video, of one Undisputed Era.
Yes.
What they're doing.
Yeah.
So
they're like the modern day NWO.
Oh yeah,
Very
absolutely.
just egotistical guys, but despite what NWO was, like they can actually put on really great matches. They're not just a bunch of old dudes who are, you know, latching on to whatever spotlight they have left. Like they're fighting for it. They're young. They're super entertaining. Like Kyle O'Reilly playing the championship belt like a guitar all the way down the ramp and just killing it. Oh, they're so damn entertaining. And plus, their theme song is amazing.
So yeah, seeing some of the gifts that has come from Kyle, like there's one like he's got these shades on, he's like what, like all offended.
Yeah. It's just the right of the hokiness.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about Tyler Breeze and how like he doesn't get as much of a push as we think he should. Yeah. Is there somebody or a couple people in particular that you would like want to see get more of a shot or a push? Whether it is title or just TV time,
wow, that's a good question. And it's kind of a cop out to say, but I wish all the NXT people on the main roster got more time.
Yes,
especially when it comes to like the tag teams, like the Revival. I love, and they're getting, you know, they're kind of like fucking them up a little bit. I don't like what they're doing, how they're handling them. Man, you know, I'm gonna say it. I wish Bayley got more. I love Bayley, and she got that championship run, and which I loved, but she's just kind of like I think she needs a character change. I would love to see what a heel Bayley looks like.
That'd be interesting.
Because I don't know about you, like when I was younger, I think this is true for almost everybody. When you're younger, you're like, "Go, good guy." Boo! You're the worst, you bad guy. But now, as I'm older, I'm always like, I lean towards being a fan of the heels.
Yeah, the first one for me that was like that was Edge. I was like, why do I like this guy? He's a dick.
Edge is a great one. I love bad guy Kurt Angle. He was great. But yeah, like now all my favorites are usually the heel versions of everybody. Like I said, Daniel Bryan, Captain Planet, evil Captain Planet dude. It's great. Like for those of you that don't watch wrestling, Daniel Bryan is a vegan and very up on like animal rights and, you know, trying to take care of the planet. And recently he took the championship belt and took it away. And he made his own out of hemp and wood and like rocks and pebbles, and it looks great. And I hope that stays around for a long time, because I just want to see whoever beats him for it, just take it and just kind of rip it up, and or like set it on fire or something. Oh man, it's so good. But it's kind of hard to pick just one, because like shows are 3 hours long on Monday night for Monday Night Raw, and you feel like not enough people get a lot of time. But then again, I don't want a 5-hour show every Monday night too. But like I think you said before we started, if they had like some sort of system.
Yeah. Like I know it's bad in a way to be like, okay, you guys are this title group, you guys are this title group, whatever. But I think if they had, okay, this is the Intercontinental group, you got 10 guys, you have these 2 guys do a program. I think sometimes we get stuck in the thing of like, okay, these 2 are fighting. Champion won. Oh, I got to do it again. Then I win. Then I got to get a title shot back. Like it just goes on for 3-4 months of the same match. It's like, ugh. If you had a system where you cycle people in and out, I think it would be a little bit more effective. But I also understand why that couldn't work in a way. But you also have people like, okay, this is the Intercontinental group. This is the main belt group. You have their inner whatever workings going, but then occasionally like this guy goes here, this guy go here, and same thing with tag. Like it's more just make it different. I want the same match 5 months in a row, because then I'm like, do I care?
No. And I think recently they kind of said, like Vince McMahon came out and he was like, I heard you, we're gonna make things a little bit different. And then I think on that Monday Night Raw, pretty much all the matches were the same. So I don't believe that they're going to change much. We see a little bit here and there, but like still giving people like Randy Orton, who is boring to me, still getting shots and high profile stuff. But yeah, it kind of stinks that they keep going to the well a little too often.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. My next question that I had, and now I'm blanking. Crap. Oh, okay. No, I remember. Okay. So we're talking about going to the well and a repeat. How do you feel about one Brock Lesnar?
I hate him.
There you go. Okay.
No way.
Yeah, like
he's been champion for way too long.
600 something days, and
well over 2 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But he's only showed up, I think, 7 or 8 times in those 2 years to defend the title.
Mm-hmm.
And God, that's so annoying. And he's getting paid probably better than everyone that's there every single week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was 2 glimmers of hope in the past, I don't know, maybe year, 6 months. We had, I know people are mixed on Roman. We had the big Roman win. He finally took down the tower that is Brock, won the belt. Then, unfortunately, the health situation came up. Got to drop it. Okay, whatever. Then, like you said, we went back to the well. We'll just give it back to this guy. So we had that glimmer of light of him losing it. And then the Rumble happened last weekend. I know those matches aren't particularly everybody's favorite, but I thought that was a really, comparatively to like the past couple pay-per-views, I thought that was a really good one. And they got me. Yeah, Finn's going to win. Finn's going, oh, fuck, here we go.
Yeah. Actually,
the same thing.
His last couple have been actually really good at letting the smaller guys get some offense in. Because, like, at this point, was it last year or the year before, like with Goldberg and Kevin Owens, like they were done in 30 seconds.
Yep.
And it's
the worst.
It's awful.
That was like the first pay-per-view in a while. They ended early too. I'm like, what?
It was so bad. But yeah, like Finn, I think is somebody who deserves the title back.
Yes,
100%. And I want Finn to get his rightful title run. Because he had to drop it because he injured himself the night he won it. Like, he didn't even have a chance to kind of go into his thing. And hopefully after WrestleMania, it's going to be Seth and Finn fighting for the belt for a little bit. Because I think that's going to be great. But who knows?
We'll
Just
see.
go away, Brock Lesnar. Go away. Keep Paul Heyman. Give Paul Heyman to somebody else. But Brock, go away.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. I get why he's there. I get he's a big money draw, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's fine. I've never personally ever liked him personally as a performer or anything. I get that. But, yeah, it seems like the dumbest move ever. Just put the belt on him. Because it doesn't mean anything now if it doesn't show up for however long.
So, actually, part of my wrestling history is my first pay-per-view I ever was at live was when he beat The Rock for the title at SummerSlam when The Rock was leaving wrestling to go make movies. And that was when I was in middle school. And I remember being there, probably still too old to be way too invested in it. But I was sitting there and the entire place was booing The Rock. And I was getting so mad. I was like, this is The Rock you're booing. How can you boo The Rock? He's our champion. And then Brock destroyed him. And then that started Brock's rise of dominance. And I just remember when The Rock was leaving that building, he like turned around and gave everyone the finger. I was like, "Oh no, Brock, I'm sorry." But yeah, I've seen Brock win titles so many times, and great career. But it's time for you to go. It's time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. After Cyborg brings up, Roman is never going to get booed again. When he comes back, he's going to get the biggest pop he ever has received. Yeah, which, I mean, rightfully so. And I know, like I mentioned before, Roman's a very mixed reaction for people. You like him, you don't like him. I've never personally, like, hated it. I think hated him. I think he's fine. I think his character's fine. I understand the mic work, blah, 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 whatever. I think it's another thing we also talked about, once again, is just going back to the well too much. I think that was the big thing of, like, here he is. If you let him do different stuff or take a break on him, I think it wouldn't be as...
And I totally get that. And I'm somebody who loves Roman. I think Roman is one of the best wrestlers of the last 5, 6, 7 years or in the business. I think he puts on quality matches. I think his mic work isn't that bad. I just think the crowd is finding he's getting the John Cena treatment, and the crowd doesn't want that from anybody really, and which sucks because Roman's great, and that was a super sad moment when he announced that his leukemia, right? His leukemia came back and nobody knew, and that was such a shock. And hopefully he's getting better, and hopefully we see him in the ring again, because it's weird now we're in a WWE without him, and I can tell for myself at least how much I miss him on the shows. Because
it's definitely different.
Whether you booed him or cheered him, he got a huge reaction. That match was always entertaining to watch because the crowd was invested either one way or the other. Yep. And that's something that it's missing. And God, I can't wait for him to come back.
Let's see. Okay. I know other brands we're not really super knowledgeable on. I guess this will be like a quick touch on, and then we'll go somewhere else. AEW, thoughts on it? Like, do you think this is a good move?
I think it's I think it's great. Like actually, I'm very interested to see what it's going to be. Because it's not too often where you get to hop on the train like at its beginning. Like this is a brand new company who they've had one pay-per-view show, and that's kind of, you don't get that in wrestling businesses here. Like you could say WCW, but even then they pulled like the history of the NWA, not NWA. Is that NWA? Yeah. That history and stuff to lead into it. So this is a brand new thing, going to carve its own history. Chris Jericho, another one of my all-time favorites, will be in AEW. So I'm excited to watch, but I'm tired of seeing wrestling fans think it's the greatest thing ever right now. They haven't had a show yet as a company. Like, slow down.
There was some picture going around, like, it was probably a meme or something, like AEW is just a t-shirt brand until they put on a match.
Absolutely. And speaking about the Rumble last weekend, some guy in the front row had a shirt on, and security told him to take it off, and the fans of AEW got super mad about it. And on my side, I'm like, well, if I was WWE and I have a brand new company whose marketing is right there in front row, of course I'm going to tell them to take it off. That thing happened all the time in the Attitude Era. People showed up with WCW shirts. I'm sure they got them taken off or signs taken down. It's nothing new, but like now social media, everything blows up, and I'm optimistic about it. I'll put it there. But again, it's like, I know Chris, I know Neville, I don't really know many others.
Rip Neville. I'm excited to see what it's gonna turn into. I think it's good for the business in whole, because competition makes everything better. I just hope, like, I know there's all the rumors of, people want to leave. I hope WWE doesn't like overreact. Like, take notice, but don't flip out and be like, oh no, this, or just pummel them into the ground.
Because I am scared, and I say scared like I have some kind of say in WWE, but like Kevin Owens is another one of my guys, and I know how friendly he is with the AEW, like the Young Bucks and Cody and everybody. So I could see Kevin Owens going that way, but I kind of hope he doesn't, because KO is like, I just love what he brings to the table. A big guy who's athletic and can move quick and strong and funny on the mic, and just an all-around fantastic performer. So I mean, I'd watch him in AEW, but I want to see him get the actual WWE title, not the Universal Red one. Like the fruit by the foot colored one. No, I want the real. I want him to have a real title run, and I'll be happy.
See, Brock? Now it's just a fruit roll up. It doesn't even matter.
I'm surprised he hasn't tried to eat it yet. Like it's jerky or something. Who knows?
All right. I guess last question for this wrestling topic, because we're going for a while. Nothing wrong with that. Always good talking about wrestling. I want to know, who do you think will be the first women's tag team champions? I know we got 2 qualifiers for the elimination match, blah, 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 whatever. Who do you think will take it?
All right.
If, any team.
It's going to be a short-lived reign, because I do think at the end of Mania we're getting the 4 horsewomen. Everyone has belts, which I think would be awesome. But I think at Elimination Chamber, which is close, I think it's only 2 weeks away or something like that.
Something like
That's
that.
insane to me. It's going to be the Iconics, and I will be so happy because I love Peyton and Billy.
Wow. Okay.
I think the Iconics got it because
I should have expected that guess, but I didn't expect that guess as
who do you think
you're
it's
a Iconic fan. I think I agree with you. Like the 4 horsewomen reign. I think it's either going to be Sasha and Bailey, but I also kind of want. I know some people are against it, but I kind of want the NXT call of Kyrie and I don't know how to say her name. Io. Yeah, I think that would be badass. I think it might have been the kind of wrestling group. Somebody mentioned that, and there were people like so against it, like, oh, they would be so upset that NXT people just came in. I'm like, I didn't comment because I was like, nah, I'm not gonna get in that. But I was like, I remember a certain Paige doing this exact same thing. She had to drop the other belt.
No, that'd be
so
hype. If they didn't even announce that team until the day of the Chamber and they just walked in, I could see that happening. Now I just want to see Kyrie do the elbow off of Chamber Pod.
Yeah, I remember the Rumble when the ladies are doing it. My dad had the best reaction. She's like, she gets just so fucking sideways with that. She's just going all in.
It's a shock she doesn't like break her back every single time.
Yeah, she's so tiny, so you think just it'd be the easiest thing ever. But yeah, and then I don't know. I really am a big fan of those girls. I unfortunately missed out on both. There's 2 May Classics or just 1?
2.
2. I still need to go back and watch those. Both of them. But like those girls have like, in my eyes, have really made an impact with the Shayna Baszler feud. And then I remember, I don't remember if it was Chicago, maybe it was War Games, but there was one when it was Kyrie and Shayna, and then like the other, I don't remember Shayna's friends.
They came in and interfered. Somebody else.
Yeah, there you go. They came in, and then Io came out, or no, Dakota Kai came out, and it's helped out. And then Io came out, just did her beautiful backflip. Like, I don't know, that just felt like, oh, something's brewing here. And then unfortunately Dakota got hurt and all that stuff. But I don't know, they just feel like they've been making an impact. And then Kyrie's been like crushing it, like awards and titles and the first May Classic win.
Yeah, she won the first one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that would be a cool way to get them up there.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure.
And go from there. Yeah. Whew. All right. Wrestling. That was fun. I would love to talk more wrestling with you. Absolutely. And we'll have to figure out when to do that. So, topic 2 is all Kyle's. Ooh. Kyle, what is your topic for today?
All right. So, something that I love besides games and wrestling, I love movies. Movies are, to me, is like the purest form of entertainment, where like you could just escape the world for a couple hours and you know, put yourself in another person's shoes for like 2 hours. And this is a question I always like to ask people to kind of gauge what their interests in movies are and like who their favorite actors are. But if you were to have a biopic or a movie based on your life, who would you have play you? Like, which famous actor do you feel not only would embody you and your personality, but like, who's going to do a good job? Do your story the right way.
Oh boy. Okay. Do you have an example for yourself?
No.
Because I'd be interested in hearing. No. Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Back in high school, it was Edward Norton.
Okay.
Just because I love Ed Norton, he's a great actor. But lately, it's been back and forth with a couple people. Like if I'm older, John Goodman. If I was older, yeah, for sure, John. And I'm blanking now. I would love to say, I would love to say Jim Halpert. I'm blanking on this name.
Oh crap, lady, you could help us out with this. You're an Office fan, you know.
Oh my god, this is hurting my brain because I love The Office. All I think is Jim.
John Krasinski.
There it is.
Yeah. There we go. Lady, thank you. The assist after.
Yeah, John Krasinski I would love. I wouldn't force him to put on the pounds, but like I just love his acting and
yeah,
just his take on the every man type of thing in The Office is why I love that show so much. So yeah, probably one of those. I'm probably missing a huge one. Like when I was little and in like middle school when I used to have like a buzz cut, I looked exactly like the kid from who played Buzz in Home Alone, Kevin's brother.
Okay.
Which hurts my soul. But that kid could do a great job if it was just like based on physical appearance. But, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. This would definitely we'd need either a time machine, some CG, or something going on. Because I can, because I can only think of one name and it's sticking with me. But I would love for Keanu Reeves to play. I loved one of my favorite movies of all time is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
The Excellent too.
So I feel exactly. So I feel that would be great for probably high school up until current, and then obviously I don't know what's going on down the road, but the John Wick evolution of growing up. Obviously I'm not going to murder 800 people, but that look and
if somebody kills my dog, I will absolutely murder that many people.
So yeah, I think Keanu is the big one for me that I would think of. And I know you said like your supporting cast, like, right? Like your friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give a shout out to my guys that have helped me with a lot of this content here at the channel, twitch.tv/enigma911. So I got 3 friends. I have Billy, John, and Dio. Those are like the homies. Oh, it's going to be tough. Billy, for sure, I think would fit, or Tom Holland would fit him perfectly. Nice. Goofy, thin, stick, just there. And the funny thing is, I'm not going to reach too far from Tom Holland, but just in looks, and we teased Dio about this so much, when the first Homecoming trailer came out, Ned, I can't remember the actor's name, Jake something, but we're like, holy shit, it's Dio. So I know like the age difference is there. Like Ned's way younger than him, but I think he would be great. Big John's the tough one. So you and Big John, if you put each other side to side, could be fucking brothers.
Really?
It's So that one, oh man. He's gonna hate me when he hears this podcast, but Big John, I don't know, man. I don't know who could fill your shoes and be you. That's I'm blanking on that one. I don't know. But who would be your supporting cast, Kyle? Who would you get in there?
So like my high school friends were, I mean, they're all cool people, but I feel like anybody could kind of play them in a way, as long as they have some sort of like comedic type of talent. I would love for Chris Pratt to be part of my posse, or just hell, Chris Pratt could just be me. I don't care. I just want Chris Pratt on my movie project. But then I would have Amy Poehler as one of my good friends from high school. I feel like they kind of look very similar to each other. And I feel like Amy could pull off like that. What's that movie? Blades of Glory-esque type of character. Like she's kind of weird and but still kind of funny. I think she would be great for that. Oh man! Oh come on, Kyle. See, I'm real bad with names and remembering like specific people. I see their faces. But the kid from We're the Millers and
the son and
the
I don't know his name. I know exactly who you're talking about. I have no idea his name.
Will. I think it's Will Poulter. I think is his name. He's like a ringer for one of my good friends from high school. So have him in there. I just like, I think it would just be cool to have a biopic. And don't know how entertaining it would be. But so that's like where I want like the best actors in there.
Mm-hmm.
kind of make it entertaining. But
Yeah.
that was always something in high school. My friends would kind of like make a cast list, and like my teachers would have their own counterparts that would be cast by actors. Like we had a teacher for history who's like a ringer for Danny DeVito. So like Danny DeVito was all in like every scene that they would write.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course, like kind of funny. Like, here's a question: since we're both best friends, who would play the crew?
Oh crap!
Yeah, if you were to pick actors and actresses for the crew of Kind of Funny.
Ooh. See, I immediately went to Greg. I'm like, who can be that?
Right? Yeah.
Like out there. Oh man. That's a hard one.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I might piggyback off your own casting and maybe say Krasinski for Nick. But I don't know if he could be that like wild card esque, I guess.
I could also see like Nick is just Nick.
Yeah. That's a hard
or
one right there.
Johnny Ace
play
Nick. They're
true. If we can afford them. That's a tough one.
Plane flights back from Malta are not cheap.
Yeah, Rip Barrett. Who would be Tim? Who would be Andy? Who would be any of these guys? Man, I think that's a harder question than thinking of my own. I don't know why.
It is because like we're kind of so used to them being their own type of entertaining people.
Yeah. They all have their own persona and shtick and whatever, and then thinking of like who is that counterpart, I guess. Okay, it's gonna sound weird because, all right, how do I say this without offending people? Racially, this doesn't add up. But Xavier Woods could fit Greg's role.
That's true.
Because if you watch Up, Up, Down, sometimes he just goes in.
That's very true.
Like, with his intros and stuff.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt for Nick.
That'd be a nice one.
Okay.
I could see that.
Yeah.
You know what? Who would be actually? I got one for Greg.
Okay.
The laugh might be off-putting, but Seth Rogen. I think Seth Rogen also takes his shirt off all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like physically they're kind of similar.
Yep.
I could see Seth Rogen being Greg type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or Danny McBride. Who's the guy that Nick wanted on the podcast? Who's in Fantastic Beasts and Fanboys? I'm gonna look this up because this is.
It's not the main guy, right?
No. Dan Fogler. Balls of Fury, the ping pong movie.
Yeah.
He could be Kevin. Kevin.
There you go. Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be perfect for Kevin.
Yeah, Tim and Andy are kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like Tim, it's got to be. He's the pure one. So who's pure enough to take that role?
I mean, even if we're getting to like extended crew,
Chris Evans. Chris Evans is Tim.
There you go. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Cool Greg is such an enigma. I don't know if anybody can capture that.
Again, I think Cool Greg can just show up on set and just be in the scenes and be totally fine. Because Cool Greg's the man.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. That's for some, like I said, for some reason that's just way more difficult than.
And I probably should have thought a little bit more on it myself too.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Could you imagine having a movie be about your life?
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all. I was joking in my own head, like as we were going through that. I'm like, man, I better just start doing some interesting things, or else this movie's gonna suck.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
Kit Harington
one.
for Andy. They did do that face overlay thing.
They definitely did. And then Christopher Walken will just be like he just has to be in it.
Rebel Wilson.
That's a good call.
Jeez, lady. All right, just do it for us.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll sit here and wait.
But what kind of movies are you into?
Ooh, okay. Um, I guess action comedy would be like the go-to.
Okay.
I suppose. I am not a horror movie guy
Oh, you're
in any
not?
way, shape, or form. No,
Okay.
no. If ever I was to partake in a horror film, it's got to be midday.
Okay.
I'm not going to be sleeping anyway. And I need to pause whenever I need to and step away.
You haven't seen A Quiet Place?
No, I want
Okay.
to because I hear so many good things, and I'm like,
So I get kind of lucky. Like if I'm not substitute teaching, like during the day, if I have the money, I usually go and just spend the day at the movies sometimes.
okay.
And so when A Quiet Place was out, I had the entire theater to myself.
Oh God.
And that was like that is the way to watch that movie because it is. Since you haven't seen it, you don't understand like how quiet it really is. Like you can hear a pin drop in that movie, much like Gravity. The amount of silence in that movie. And at the end of A Quiet Place, the custodian came into the theater.
Oh.
And he like dropped his broom, and I leaped off the chair. That scared the crap out of me because it was silent the whole time. It was just me.
Yeah.
Oh, and I thought those monsters were actually real. Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
I love a good horror movie, but like you, I would prefer to be sometime in the day, because if it's a 40-minute drive to my theater of choice because it's the best one. So then when I get home, it's usually late at night. I got to turn on all the lights, and I'm a grown ass adult.
Yep.
But you get that like tingling sensation on your back that someone's watching.
Oh yeah.
That's what happened when I saw It. When I saw the remake of
God.
It, like that messed me up for a couple days.
Yeah, see, that was another one.
It's a great movie, though.
I was going to hype myself up. I'm like, all right, guys, I'll go see it. It was like, after it came out already, so I wasn't like going full theater. But me and my buddy John went to go see it. I'm like, all right, I can do this. I can do this. Then the car ride, I'm still like, oh no. Oh no, I can't do this. We get right up to the theater. I'm like, John, can we watch Kingsman 2 instead? He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. It's like, fine, let's go. And then I put it as an extra life goal, and we hit it. So we had a whole viewing party. It was just like the whole time.
So you actually you watched it?
I actually did see it, yeah.
It's a great
out.
movie.
Oh, yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, I was just...
Pennywise is disturbing. And again, that's a horror movie with a kid who's creepy in it. And I think that's probably like the worst of any type of horror trope.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a bad one. And then jump scares just get me all the time. Just because I'm like sitting there, I know it's coming. Oh, it didn't happen. And then I'm like, stop!
See, the worst is when you're in the theater and it's not a horror movie. And there's something that makes you jump in.
Yep.
You always feel like such a fool. It's the worst feeling in the world.
I don't know if you've seen it, but have you seen Horrible Bosses?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the scene where the cat jumps out. Jesus Christ. I did the same thing in that one. I jumped so high.
Oh. People, like, if I'm usually with someone at the movie and that happens, they, like, either move a seat, so, like, they're not next to me, or they actually yell at me really loud in the theater.
So, yeah, horrors are a big no-no for me. I've been trying to dabble, but I'm like, nope, let's do this at home. Let's not go out and watch it.
What about like a movie like Get Out?
That was that Jordan Peele or one of those guys? Okay, yeah, that's another one. The trailer, I was like, nope, that's not my kind of movie. But after hearing all these good things about it, I'm like, all right, I should try it eventually.
You should.
Yeah,
that's more like that's not really like horror, like gore, bloody guts, and jump scares, whatnot. That's just like scary from a real world perspective,
mental perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. His new one, that one looks creepy as hell.
Yeah,
I actually have my tickets for opening night for that one. I'm very excited.
So yeah, action ones are big ones, comedy ones are good, big ones, and then, I mean, like many of the Kind of Funny Best Friends comic book movies, go to those all the time. I don't know. Yeah, I think those are the big ones. I don't mind going to an animated movie every once in a while. Like, obviously, Spider-Man, that crushed it. But different story there. And then like I've fallen out of it, but I'm a big Disney kid and the family's into that. So like every once in a while going to see those in theater and whatnot.
Shout out to musicals. I love me a good musical.
Okay.
Even like if it's in like a bad movie with like a lot of music in it. Like going back to being a huge fan of The Office, Rainn Wilson's The Rocker. Have you ever seen that?
I remember. I know what you're talking about.
Emma Stone in it, and Josh Gad, who plays Olaf in Frozen.
Yeah.
He just plays like this really down on his luck, living in the attic of like his sister's house, and he just really badly wants to be like a rock and roll drummer because he was in a band long ago. Then they kicked him out, and it's basically Dwight being a drummer, and the music in there is actually kind of good, and I would consider that a musical. But yeah, any movie that has good music in it, I think is key. Not enough people appreciate music in movies and what they do for it.
Nice. All right, I like that topic. Definitely hard to think like who it would be. It's probably gonna be one of those things I'm like thinking about, and then randomly, oh, that person. Like
as you're watching a movie, it'll pop on.
Yep. So I'll have to see if that casting list kind of grows and expands or changes a little bit. But all right, moving on to topic 3. Topic 3, for those of you guys, this is your first episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. If we have a new guest and it's one-on-one, I like taking them through the lightning round. So it's about, 10, 12 questions, just so you get to know this person a little bit more. So Kyle, I'm going to read the question to you.
All right, I'm ready.
I just want you to go with your gut reaction.
You got it.
And you can elaborate on any answer you'd like, or you just keep it one word, does not matter.
All right.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. First question. Kyle, what's your favorite color?
Oh, blue.
All right.
Mets fan, Giants fan. It's got to be blue.
Nice. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Hate cats with a passion.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, cat. I'm deathly allergic to cats.
Okay. Well,
I prefer an animal that wants to actually cuddle with you and like hang out and have fun. And cats are not that animal. So.
What's your favorite game?
Oh God. Favorite game is. Oh, that changes a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, feel free if you want to like give out like this era was this was this, or just like these are some games
I'm a big RPG guy.
Okay.
So Final Fantasy, one of the best RPGs of all time, is Star Ocean: The Second Story. Come at me. That needs to be remade or remastered like now. Love the Resistance series. Love Uncharted. Pretty much everything on PlayStation. I will say my favorite game of the last year, and I loved God of War. I love Spider-Man like a ton, but it's Celeste. If you haven't played Celeste, what it does for mental health in a video game, and it's just beautiful. Made me cry on multiple occasions. Celeste is one of the best games made in the last couple of years.
Alrighty. Favorite movie?
Oh, The Goonies.
All right.
Goonies for sure. You know what? Yeah, just take that group of actors. And it's going back to my topic of the movie. Just take them, and I'll give them all my friends, and there you go. That's it.
All right. Favorite type of music?
It'd have to be rock. I used to be one of those people who were like anything but country. Yep. But even now, there's some country songs that are pretty good. So I'm not hating on it too bad anymore. But yeah, I'm definitely a rock kid. Like the bad rock, like middle school, like Limp Bizkit, Saliva.
Oh, nothing wrong with those. Yeah. Favorite song?
Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
That was the first song I remember listening to on my mom's Walkman cassette because, old guy here. And I remember listening to that in the back of the van going to Pennsylvania, and God, that's such a beautiful song. That guitar opening guitar riff gives me chills every time I hear it. That's why it's my ringtone.
Nice. Yeah. What is a dream job that you wanted when you were a kid?
Wow, this is like everything ties in on this episode. A pro wrestler. I wanted to be a pro wrestler when I was little, like hardcore. And then I realized I'm not in shape, or but whatever. Another couple ones that I wanted to do was a video game tester. Now that I'm old enough and I realize that job sucks. And then my parents said, "Hey, Kyle, you know what you'd be good at?" As a joke, obviously. My parents are very loving. You could be a chocolate tester. Just eat chocolate all day. It's like, yes, sign me up.
Oh boy. All right, if you could have any animal to be a pet, which one would you choose?
It would be it'd either be a grizzly bear or a panda bear.
Okay.
Again, it's one of those giant animals I feel like just cuddle. Nice. Yeah.
If you could meet one celebrity, who would it be? Doesn't matter the scale of celebrity.
Yeah. The Rock would be cool. Rock would definitely be cool. And then, just because I have a huge crush on her, Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Nice. Favorite season?
Winter. Listen, Bret. As a big man, there's only so much clothing I feel comfortable taking off.
True.
Wintertime, just bundle it up. I'm ready to go.
Fair enough. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Okay. Yeah. What is a skill that you wish you could have?
Skill I wish I could have. First one that popped in my head was running. I wish I could run for long distances without feeling I'm going to die. That'd be fun. Lately, now that I'm older and still trying to figure out what to do with my life, I would love to learn video editing and and Photoshop skills and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the type of stuff I wish I know now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, last question.
All right.
What is a game that you would like me to play?
Ooh. Okay. This is kind of like a segment I do on Best Friends Talk Funny.
Hey.
Yeah. A game that I want you to play. What kind of games are you into, Bret? Does it matter?
It's a variety.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Played it on the Vita this morning at my job. Rogue Legacy. Have you played Rogue Legacy before?
I have not.
Oh, yes. Rogue Legacy is a procedural generated map, like a dungeon, where every time your character dies, you get to pick its child, and the child goes back into the dungeon, and you have to defeat every single boss, upgrading your skills, your abilities, gear, and the gameplay loop is really fun because every time you go into the castle, it's a different layout. And so if you don't go to the guy outside the castle and be like, hey, lock it down so the rooms don't move, then you know where to go. Like if you find where the boss is, then it's a new thing and you have to find it all over again. I have beaten it 3 times. I'm at level 620, and it's just a fun side-scrolling, lots of charm. I think it's a game that got overlooked by many, and the gameplay loop will hook you. And then it's one of those things like one more run.
Yeah.
Only a couple more, then 3 hours go by. Yeah, I love Rogue Legacy, so yeah, that would be my pick.
All right, cool. All right. Yeah. Kyle, thank you very much for being on the show, being on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Bret. This is a lot of fun. As somebody who's still, even though I do a lot of stuff and I am on 2 podcasts, I feel like I still need to hone my skills a little bit. And I just love, talking to somebody, especially another best friend. And I appreciate this opportunity to come on the show. And whenever you want me back on, absolutely, I'll be back. And you have to come on my show now. It's just how
I'm looking
that
forward
works.
to it. Yeah. So, Kyle, where can they find you? All these lovely places that we talked about.
Yeah, so you can find my personal Twitter at WhoDatNinja73. That's also my PSN name, so go friend me on there, especially if you play Beat Saber. So like we can battle on high scores because that's going to help me lose weight. That's one of my goals.
Gotta get on
year.
that.
You can find the Best Friends Talk Funny show at BFS Talk Funny on Twitter, at podcast services wherever, and the Trophy Room at PS Trophy Room on Twitter, Kinda NYC on Twitter at Kinda NYC, Kinda Wrestling on Facebook, and at Kinda Wrestling on Twitter. It's a lot. Just if you go to my main Twitter profile, everything will be there.
Nice. All right, so chat and everybody watching, this has been Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 38. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching today. Remember, you can watch this podcast live every first and third Saturday of the month here on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 at 8 p.m. Eastern. If not, you can always check it out over on youtube.com, search Enigma9011, where you can see it topic by topic or as one big video. If you have topics for us to talk about on the show, you can put them in the comments section down below or join us on Discord and put it in that tab specifically for that. And last but not least, guys, remember this podcast is sponsored by the merch store. You can get all of your Enigma 9011 swag, rep the brand, and support us. Get all of your t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more over there and help us out. All right, Kyle, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And yeah, we'll have to definitely see if we can get you back on and spend another 45 minutes talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.